All right, all right, all right. How's it going, everyone? Let's see if I can get some links going on. All right, let's see. YouTube Studio. So today I just decided to do a little live stream. I wanted to share with you guys a couple of the things I'll be doing. So if you're here, make sure to leave a comment below. And if you have any questions, of course, as always, I have a pretty decent amount of dumb phones still here, even though I gave a lot away on the latest live stream. But again, if you have any questions, put them on the chat. We'll be going through them. Today, I want to talk about my latest little project. I've been working on it a little bit, but essentially, I want to go a little bit further from the dumb phone content. And I kind of want to go into a little bit more of like what it means to kind of like quit the internet. I think it was 10 years ago. The Verge, Paul Miller, he did a series on offline. There it is. That's the first thing that comes up. Perfect. So there's 37 articles essentially about this. And, I've been thinking about it for the past couple of days. What it means to quit the internet. So quit the web. Of course, there are certain aspects that cannot be quit. There are certain things that are at least very difficult to quit. It's not impossible. Let me put some music for you guys. But I wanted to kind of like just talk about that because I think it's quite important, especially as the web becomes more ubiquitous with us and like, the things that we do. Oh, just had a good day today starting. Let me make sure that all of these are approved for YouTube monetization. Yeah, I think it's fine. Let's see. Can you guys hear that? I think so. I think you should. Maybe a little lower. There you go. I'll put it down here as long as there's audio here, I can monitor it. So, So if you have any questions, like let's go over it. But I have the camera here. I'll be setting it up in just a second so that you guys can see the latest projects. But yes, so a couple of years ago, we had this article series by Paul Miller. And he had a lot of things, like what he went offline for a full year. He had like a lot of rules about it. And I've been thinking about like what it means to go offline, so I've been using the Light Phone 2 for almost 3 years now, and it's definitely different, but yeah, like I think he has a post with like the rules, specifics. Yeah. Internet use includes web browsing from any device, asking anyone to web browse for me, surfing the internet over someone's shoulder, and enjoying entertainment streams like Netflix, even if started by someone else. I won't sync my devices over the internet, download software, use internet verified DRM or anything like that. I won't manage my bank accounts over the internet and will attempt to pay my bills manually or over the phone. Unless I'm doing it unknowingly, I won't use voice over IP. I'll avoid even having my Wi-Fi in order to avoid accidental internet use. And of course, some of these things may not be as realistic in 2022, but I think it's a good goal. So I've been thinking about, hey, I want to continue my journey offline, and I started writing a couple of things a couple of things that I thought that would be interesting to kind of like go over. So I like, what are some of the things I need or I want that I find value in, but that I don't want to kind of like continue using the internet for those purposes, so I'm still like wondering, what to do. I think you guys cannot hear this anymore. Let me see. There you go. Hopefully it's a nice background music. If it's too loud, just let me know and I'll change it. Let me turn this on to go over a couple of the things that I've been looking into since the last time I did a live stream. It's been a little while. It's been like maybe like 2-3 weeks or so. There it is. Yep. Let's see if it works. Let's see. Okay, so yeah, it does work. It's just not a line. And we're gonna bring this one a little bit further in so that you guys are not looking at something. Let's change the mode. There you go. And change a couple of settings. As you see, I want it further. No, there you go. It's pretty good. And I need to take the focus peaking off. Always something. Focus peaking. There it is. Off. Perfect. So, as you saw, one of my latest videos, I've been testing the Unpluq tag. So this is a new device that essentially blocks all apps, and then you're able to use it like this once you want to use whatever it is that you're using. But let me start with like quitting the internet. What does that mean, right? So I've been thinking about that, and first thing that I thought is, okay, well, I need email. Like, sadly, that's the mode of communication that most people use in my line of work. And since I'm using a lot of like, let me put that here. That probably looks nice. Yeah. So, okay, I need some sort of email. I need some graphic design work done for a couple projects that I do here and there. So like, it doesn't have to be online. It can be offline, but I have to have it for the most part. Maybe a couple times I don't, or maybe I can delegate that. But for the most part, I need to use it. And then you have things like Slack, continue using it or not. Notion, which is good to organize thoughts and things of that nature. Now, also the YouTube channel, like, I've been thinking like, okay, how do I publish to YouTube without having a direct connection with the internet? I love interacting with the comments, and helping people, but what is it that I want to do? I feel like that's the main thought that I've been having over the last couple of weeks. Then you have podcasts, audiobooks, SMS, and phone calls, which are kind of necessary, or things that I really appreciate, things that add value to my life. So I've been thinking about those over the last couple of weeks, and I don't really have an answer to what all this means. But that's kind of like some of the life. Again, if you guys have any questions, please make sure to put them on the comment side. I'll be reading them, and then we'll be going over them. So Pizza Duder says, just FYI, I was having trouble with messages on Verizon SIM and my Light phone. Verizon wasn't any help. Cancel service with Verizon. I'm now using Light phone service plan. Light phone now works fine. Perfect. It's good to hear. Again, I continue using my Light phone. It's my primary device. Still have a couple percentage, and I think some missed calls, probably some spam too. Yes, and as you see, my mic changed a little bit because my SM7B is going to go for repairs. So I hope it still sounds pretty decent. So hopefully it's not too different, the quality. I know the other one is super nice, but that's life. Things break. You get over it. So let me go back to, so that's one of the things that inspired me. And then I've been looking into certain tools to replace, right? Like I want to replace some of this behavior. So the first thing I've been looking at is email clients. So there is a couple of email clients that I've been looking into. And of course, I want them to be free, essentially. But Mailbird is one, Thunderbird, of course, from Firefox. Team is another one. But I feel and I find that a lot of these are very busy. So, one of the things that I hate about email is that it's like it has all these folders and all these things, and there's not like something that's, very nice looking. So if you guys have any suggestions, I invite them right into this, because I've been thinking about like, okay, so what do I want to use? And then I came across a little bit of a revamp from Proton. So Proton Mail now is proton.me. But they have a little bit of like a revamp on their system, and it looks a little bit better. I mean, I think it looks good, and of course it's paid because they have like, of course, needs for some of those things. But it's kind of interesting, right? Like, I've been I've been looking into Proton Mail, like, say like, okay, can I switch everything to Proton Mail and have, some of this email client working in here and things of that nature. But it's quite something actually, because, as you start using some of these tools, you may be thinking like, okay, so how do I actually quit some of these behaviors that I have in the internet? Like, and how far, do you go into it, right? Because there's people that say you need to quit completely, don't have any kind of use of the internet. And there's people that say like, well, you can remove some of the most distracting areas, like, for example, Reddit, YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, whatever social media it is that's, consuming most of your time. And I've been thinking about those things. So just wanted to do a little live stream on that. If it's interesting to you, stay and watch. If it's not, that's okay. But I also wanted to showcase one more thing, which was, let me see if it has enough battery. I don't want to. Right. It's charging very slowly here. Let me see if I can charge a little bit faster on the outlet. So you guys saw, I received this phone from Volla. So Volla, you guys are not seeing this right now. And I wanted to go over it, just a little bit of how it works. So the Volla X. I find it to be quite an interesting project. So Volla is a manufacturer from Germany. I think they use a rebranded device from another German company. I'm not entirely sure on all the details, but it seems like they do that. And board guy, hey, thanks for watching. Appreciate it. Appreciate the support. First time watching, so it's quite cool. So Volla has, this operating system that they deem Volla OS, but they also allow for a couple of extra things. I don't know what happened with my mouse. I cannot see it. All right, let me switch tabs. Okay. I still cannot see it, but I can see that it's going into certain places. So as long as you guys can see, I guess that's what's important. Okay. Nope. I clicked the wrong thing. Sorry, guys. I don't know what happened with my mouse. My pointer just disappeared somehow. There it is. Okay. Well, I can still navigate, so it's not the end of the world. So I wanted to show you Volla 22. That is the operating system or offering that they're having. It's on Indiegogo. I think this campaign is over now. But they essentially have something that is coming out. But it's a smartphone essentially, but it's quite interesting because it doesn't have any Google. So that's the first thing that kind of caught my eye. It doesn't have anything that's distracting per se, right? Like, it doesn't have the Google operating system. Android Google, that is. It still has Android, but like a very very dumbed down version, So we have a quick menu, the springboard, as you see right here. It uses, a system that I guess you're able to get to things quicker, like messages, like directions, like a camera or like a gallery. You click the red button and then, this pops up. And then if you want to go to people and dial them, it's easier to do. You also have this, springboard at the top. It's like a search bar, I guess, from like the equivalent of a search bar from Apple, and then you just put the name and you can call them or message them pretty quickly. You also have the news. I saw this actually. You get a little bit of the news and you can read them, which I thought that was quite cool. Like, if you have any specific newspapers that you like, you can put them in there. And then, of course, you have people, you have the apps that you need, things like that. But what was interesting to me was not necessarily this, because this is just a different skin of an Android device, right? They're working on it. They're doing a lot of upgrades and updates. They had 3 phones now. I think the Vola first, the first one. Then you have the Vola X, which is the one I have right now. Once it gets to a little bit more charged, I'll showcase it. And then you have the Vola 22. But what I like about about all of them is that you can install different operating systems, and they make it very easy to do so. So Ubuntu Touch right here, I have covered it in the past. It's a very non-distracting operating system because it doesn't have a lot of the apps, right? But it still has some of the apps that are helpful. And then the other thing is this. This is what actually I thought that it was the most interesting, is that they're going to make not only an open bootloader, but you have a multi-boot function as the standard. So you don't need to do any tinkering or any, whatever you have to do. You can create 2 partitions essentially on the phone and have Ubuntu Touch, have Volla OS, which is the regular Android, and have Selfish OS, or as you see, Droidian or Manjaro in there. So I feel like that's amazing. It reminds me of the Pine phone. The Pine phone has that ability if you install the little SD card with a couple of the extra features. But you now have the ability, and it looks pretty decent to me. This one's quite chunky, but this one is more slim. This one's like the regular version. But you have essentially in a micro SD, you'll be able to install as many OS as you want, and like essentially use them side to side, which I think it's amazing. Especially sometimes the compatibility doesn't work for certain things, or you want to use a certain operating system for something and another operating system for something else. I found it to be quite interesting. So here's some of the details, like some of the things that it comes with. So go check them out. I'll be kind of playing around with a little bit of this in just a second, and showcasing you at least the previous version, the Volla OS or Vola X, right? And showcasing some of that. I found it to be quite interesting because, it's quite the device. So I like the multi-boot operating system ability. I think that's actually excellent, and I'm super interested and kind of like supportive of this movement. Hopefully it comes with some compatibility with the United States, and I'll talk about some of the things that don't work here on the Vola, or which carriers don't work in the United States. Of course, I think you have an idea of which one works and which one doesn't. And we have a couple questions, so I'll get to it. So is Vola X really that rugged, as in submersible and stormproof? I have not tested, but I can tell you it feels like it, and it has enough seals that I don't think it will be a problem. So we'll go over it in just a second, as it's charging. Ubuntu Touch charges quite fast, so we'll get into a board guide. Dio Brando says, is Vola OS open source? I do not know that. I am not sure. I would be surprised if it was open source. Give me 1 second. I want to get this mouse back because I can tell where it is, but it's really annoying that I am not able to see it. I'll be right back. Oh, it clicked. Perfect. Okay, so now it's back. For some reason, it was hidden. Okay, so let's go to Vola OS being open source. I don't think so. It doesn't seem to me, but maybe it is. They have a GitHub. So Vola OS is a young brand of the German startup Hallo Welt Systeme UG for a new mobile experience and privacy protection. So they have Vola OS beta test, Ubuntu Touch. So they have some beta testing and I guess some openness, as I see here. They do provide a lot of support, which honestly, any company that provides this level of support, it's really good. So this is the primary application launch under the Vola. So I guess it does have some, so you have to clone it, but it seems like it does have, certain availability for you to go through this. They have a full GitHub, Hello Vola, github.com/Hello Vola, or Vola if it's German pronunciation, Vola. And then, yeah, I mean, it seems, of course, the main version is using Android, so it's using the bare bones of Android, and it does bring the store, so it brings both the F-Droid store and the Aurora store by default, so that's quite interesting as well. But they have that availability here. And then the other thing is, as you see, you need some extra applications to run it. So Vola license 1.0, permissions hereby granted free of charge to any person, to copy, modify, merge for personal use, personal non-commercial use. Yeah, but not to publish, distribute, sub-license, or sell the software. So they have that license. I mean, I think it's pretty good. Like they allow you to tinker around with it. You just cannot market it, essentially. Then you have Ubuntu Touch beta test. Of course, that's a completely different thing because the Ubuntu Touch is a completely different project, but it's quite interesting. Now let me show you what they provide. They provide actually a lot of other vola.com. Is it vola.com? Maybe not. No. Let me see. Kickstarter, Vola Online. There it is. So Vola downloads. If you go to their download section right here, it's quite declaration of conformity. You got the Volla OS Linux kernel, Volla OS 10 Linux kernel, Ubuntu Touch kernel, a bunch of user manuals. Then you have the UbiPort installer, which that's actually something that I want to showcase, and a bunch of like other presentations, things of that nature that works. Here's a boot manager. Did I see that? I think that's about the dual boot. It's a presentation, I think. Yeah. So, yeah. So this is probably what they're trying to implement. Yeah. So it can boot from the SD card. So if you install something on the SD card, you can do it in there. But for now, it was on beta. Probably they're gonna graduate it with the Vola 22. But that's something that's very interesting to me because it's a different operating system. It's something, and I mean, they allow a lot of this, which not a lot of companies give you a kernel, give you a full thing, right? Yeah. So, yeah, there you go. Okay, so let's continue. So that, I think that would answer if it's open source. I mean, if you have a full Linux kernel, that's a lot. Way more than what Samsung or other manufacturers will give you. Let's see. Rabadam says, I've been fascinated by the Amish and Mennonites lifestyles for a few years, but it's a bit drastic to go that far. So for now, I'm going to change my internet habits. Yeah, absolutely. I understand what you're saying. I think the main thing is that we still need a level of access because of how we earn money, right? So like if I were to be in a Amish or a Mennonite community, I feel like there are systems within that community that allows me to earn money and not need the internet. But because I don't live in those communities, I need the internet to, kind of like allow certain things, right? So like I'm not, I work, I use the internet for work, I design, I consult, I have Zoom calls or things of that nature. And those are some of the things I'm like, well, kind of can't get rid of them right now unless I want to change my job, but that's not something I want to do. So you kind of have to think about it. But hey, that's some of the things. Okay, couple extra comments and then we'll continue. Hopefully that will be charged so I can showcase a couple of the things that I've been playing around with. Hello everyone. Hope all of you are having a great day. Perfect. No, thank you, Jonathan. Hope you're having a great day too. Even if they're not open source, they seem like they could eventually be nudged in that direction, kind of like Mudita. Yes, so I think they're definitely more open source than anything else. If they're providing a full Linux kernel, you have a lot to play around with, and you don't necessarily need their permission. Of course, as long as you don't do it for, commercial reasons, right? Commercial, because that will be competition, or you'll be using their code, things of that nature, right? Moritz, hello Weltsysteme just means hello world systems. Yes. So very true. World systems, hello world systems. So you have that, right? So we talked a little bit about that. I'm going to continue coming back to this theme of quitting the internet. Hopefully I can find a solution. I just wanted to kind of like talk about it and also showcase the Vola and another friend right here. And I will hopefully showcase to you another friend here, the Aquos Sharp. This is a Japanese phone. Oh, you're not seeing it. Sorry. Let me take down the screen capture. So here we have a Japanese, one of the Japanese devices. I can tell you they are they're made different, and I enjoy their build quality. I think it's a little bit without battery, so I'll just gonna put it on the dock. It comes with a dock, so it comes with a dock, and you put it on the dock towards the side, and then you can charge it, you know, through the back right here. It's quite ingenious, actually. You know, I'm really surprised and really excited about how some of these things work. But yes, so I'm, you know, struggling through this thought process, and that's kind of wanted to talk about it and help some of you. So I think I made a list, and again, I have the list here of the things that I actually need. So the things that I need completely in order to quit more of the internet. So I still need email, right? And I don't need access. I actually stopped accessing my email all the time since 3 years ago. Since I got my light phone, I stopped installing, you know, like email apps on any of my smart devices. I just check it like once, twice, maybe 3 times a day if somebody calls me and say like, hey, can you check the email real quick? Then you have the graphic design apps. I use a lot of web-based ones just because they're free and I don't need super high scale, you know, images. It's mainly for social media and stuff like that. So they get me by. And then you have, you know, a couple of the other things like, you know, podcasts, audiobooks, SMS, phone calls. That gets covered by the light phone. No issues. I never had an issue with that. But then I come into a couple of the things that I don't know if I need, or like I don't think I have an answer yet. So like the channel is going to morph a lot in the next couple of months. We're moving again. Within Colorado, we're just, you know, moving to another area. And yeah, so, you know, that's some of it. But Slack and Notion, those are the two things that I'm like, okay, I don't know what I want to do with those, right? Like, do I continue using them? Do I switch to a different system? And I'll explain to you why I use some of these things. So let me go to a blank Notion page. So Slack, I get some emails, some communication through there. But essentially Notion.so, which is, here, let's see. Let me log in. All right. Oh, yes, of course. So this is the personal ones. Yeah, so I can showcase some of it. So what I've done before is I do a board, or I do a list of things that I have. And what I do is essentially, let me see if I can change this view. No, I don't want that. Let me delete that. So something that I've done in the past is I create a board, new database. There it is. And then like I put stuff from my email in here, so I don't have to go back and cross-reference. So one thing that I do is like I go into my email, and then like, okay, let's say I have an assignment to do, like design project reset. It's one of the projects that we're going through right now. So I put literally add a comment with like the full email here in order for me to reference it. And then I put like a date, you know, like let's say today is 6/5/22. So I'm not like always checking my email, but I still have the access. And what I do like about Notion, there are other ones, but what I do like about Notion is that they have a system that you're able to download an app. So you have a desktop. So you have a desktop app, and you don't need a full-blown, you need to go to the website, so you can just go to the app. So I'm not distracted by, you know, anything else. I may just playing a podcast in the background, and like while I'm working or whatever I'm working. But I haven't found like a full replacement for Canva or some of the other design, you know, places. So I use two. First one's Canva, of course, and then the second one is Snapseed. which I got for free or for a one-time payment. Like, essentially it's very similar. But this one I do when like I had to reboot certain things. Like, so Canva, or this one, like, when I had to do whatever, blur something or take out anything, this one helps me with it because I got it for the full. There's a lifetime deal. You pay $56, or that, and you get unlimited everything essentially. It's not as nice looking as this one, but it gets the job done, and that's something that I've been using for like some of the graphic work. When I have to do graphic work, it's not as often, but that's some of the things. So I put these things, and that's what I'm thinking, like, okay, do I keep Notion? Do I not keep Notion? How do I, use some of these things? And that's what's been going through my head about it. Then you have Slack. Of course, that's just communication. I can tell people like, hey, I don't want to use Slack anymore. Contact me through text or email. And then the other one that I've also been thinking is, the other one that I've also been thinking is, and the main one I would say, is like communication online, right? So I have, if you guys didn't know, here, let me show you. So a couple of weeks ago now, so I switched my platform for writing from, I was using Medium, but now I'm using Substack. So you can see my posts through here, and I've been, writing a little bit more. I wrote May 26, wrote May 29. I'm probably going to write one today or tomorrow. I'm trying to like keep myself writing. And I'm like, okay, well, how can I post? How can I write into these things without having to go into a browser? Because I feel like that's the main time sucker, right? Like, the main time sucker is not necessarily, to be honest, is not necessarily like the websites that I'm using for productivity. It's that there is a tab, there is a thing. And, of course, here's where it comes the dilemma, like self-control and like doing things. And even myself, somebody that has been using a very basic device for a long time, like, I'm thinking like, okay, how do I not get sucked into like browsing and doing all of these things? So there's a couple of things I've been thinking about. A couple of things is like, there's a Chrome extension, Edge extension, called Allow URL extension that only allows certain URLs. Chrome. I'm trying to see. So you can block websites, yes, but there's a way to do it manually, but there's like there it is, whitelist manager. I think that's the one. So essentially, you put the websites that you don't want to visit, and you can tell it like, okay, block my access to this during this time. So I've been thinking about that, for the past couple of days. So that's one option that I can use. And the other one is called Web Catalog. Is an app that, can turn any website into real desktop apps. So what essentially it does, it just runs the website under a one, filter area. So let me see if I can.
He created Web Catalog.
Okay, so yep. So Web Catalog, you can just use right there. Like, you put a specific website, and you just open it under their browser solution. So essentially, they just package it as sandboxing the app within a desktop app instead of instead of going to the browser. And I've been thinking about this. This may be like a better solution for me because I think it's important to have a certain level of access, and I can delete some of the browsers that I have that I use for different reasons. But like you use it for something in specific, and it's not too expensive. It's like $40, or you can even get started 10 apps or spaces, 2 accounts, basic features, stuff like that. But the lifetime one is $40, which essentially what they're doing is just repackaging something that's specific and putting it within a container. And I think I can do that. I'm just like, do I want to set that up for every single app, or do I want to use somebody else's solution, right? So that's what it comes down to. So most of the time, right? Like, do you want to do that? Yeah. So again, that's some of the stuff that I've been thinking about. Okay, let's go over a couple more messages. So let's see. Arturio says, Jose, I got the phone. I hope, well, which phone? I don't know which one you're saying. I don't know if were you a winner of the giveaway or you got a phone that's different that I recommended. Don't remember. Sorry. The Press Anemic. Hi, Jose. I love your channel. Thank you. Thank you. Appreciate it. Daniel, try an old 3310. Yeah, I would love to, but they don't work anymore here in the United States. We don't have 2G anymore. So that's that. Toby Hooper, what's a good phone that I can use less, but that has WhatsApp? That's a very common question on this channel. I'll take some time. So go to the Dumb Phone Finder, dumbphonefinder.com, and filter by WhatsApp. So let's go WhatsApp. Where are you at? WhatsApp. It should be further up. Oh, right here. Yes. So we need WhatsApp. And let's say it's going to be a feature phone. So because it needs some apps. It's not going to be full-fledged. So here are some options that you can still use WhatsApp. The new F4L, Plum RAM 9, Nokia's KaiOS devices. There's a couple extra not here that I will recommend. AGM-M7 is actually very good. You can use WhatsApp. It's compatible pretty much everywhere. And one more, if you are outside of the United States, like in Europe, I recommend the Doro. Let me showcase this. Doro 7030 right here. This one is actually extremely good device. And if you want to install apps, this is kind of like, I guess, a little update for the Doro. If you want to install apps, you click 777 or star pound 777 pound, and then you have developer options. You click on, you go down to, you can do OEM unlocking if you want. What you need is USB debugging. So you click that one, and then you click star pound 666, and then pound. And then you have open install APK, which allows you to install any kind of APK that you want. You will need a different launcher to showcase those APKs. So right now, as you see, well, WhatsApp is there. But if you want to use any other apps like Spotify or something like that, you can still install them, but you need a different launcher. So you need to install a different launcher and change a couple of those things. And you may need a terminal, like a computer, to do so easily. Like you can still do it within the device, but you know, it's easier to just do it outside of that. So Toby, hopefully that helps you. Board guy, let's see. Use Nokia 800 Tough with KaiOS. It is sluggish, yes, not to mention the latest firmware prevents me to root it and remove Google. I will use my second number on O2. I don't want to get a legitimate KaiOS phone. I have a faker, yeah. I'm now waiting on the AGM-M7 purchase from AliExpress. Can't wait to test it out. Very good phone. I really, really think it's a good phone, the AGM-M7. There's a couple comments about, you know, removing Google Apps, stuff like that. So, yeah. Let's see. Alex, off the top of your head, do you all know any T-Mobile phone that's like the Cat S22 Flip? I hate the form of the cat, but I like the features. Yes, that's another one that's very popular because of the features, but not because of necessarily because of the form factor. So I'll give you a couple options. Let's go to. So what you are looking for is a smart feature phone. Let me go to T-Mobile. So what works with T-Mobile needs to work with Vola LTE. You need Android because that's what the Cat S22 has. Okay, so Cat S22 is right here. AGM-M7, still a little bulky, but it's not Flip, it's Candy Bar, so you can still install a lot of the things. So that's option number one. Option number two will be maybe the VoicePing P1. That's actually a very good thing. It still has all of those features. It's a little bit more rugged, but it has Google Play, and they update it pretty frequently. Xiaomi F21 Pro, amazing device. Just make sure that you have good coverage with T-Mobile, like excellent coverage with pretty much all the bands before you order it, so that it will work flawlessly here in the United States. And I think those are my recommendations. Xiaomi F21 Pro, VoicePing P1, And then Cat S22 Flip, of course, AGM-M7. Those are in the same category of smart and, having to do some of those things, Alex. All right. Dylan R. I'm thinking of getting the Jelly 2. Do you still recommend it? Yes, I think it's a good device. I still have mine here. Showcase a couple times, or when people ask me questions. I think it's still a good device. I will just make sure to get the Jelly 2 and remove a lot of the bloatware, root it, take off a lot of that crap that it has, because it will make the battery life last longer. So yeah, I still recommend it. I think it's still very good. So yeah. So there you go. And of course, like, what are your goals? What are you trying to do? That's some of the things. Alex, voice ping looks good. I would like to get the F21 Pro because it looks pretty sweet. Yes, it is pretty sweet. It's very nicely designed. Xiaomi just needs to make a North American version, and I think North America, they will overtake North America in the smart dumb phone space, just because it's very nice looking. It reminds you of like the design of the 2000s, where the designs were really nice to hold and feel and stuff, and still has a lot of the functionality. All right, so let's go to the Volla phone. All right, let's see. Now we have a little bit more battery, 14%. That should be good enough. Battery life on Ubuntu Touch is actually very long, so we should be good. Okay, so we have one more question before I jump into this. Is, would you still recommend the Palm phone? So there's two reasons why I don't recommend it. First of all is the limited compatibility. So sometimes if you don't have Verizon or a very good area coverage with T-Mobile, it will not work very well, unless you buy the unlocked version, which is very expensive. Number two is the battery life. So battery life is very poor, extremely poor. I would say it's extremely poor. It's not just very poor. But if you root it, then yes, I would recommend it. Root it, take out all of the quirks and things. And actually, let me showcase to you this. So the Palm phones, if you go to Palm Phone XDA developers, I believe at this point there is root access, Palm phone. Aha, there it is. So there's some information here. Root the Palm phone on the XDA developers. You'll find a list of instructions, and you will be able to root it and take away all of the stuff that makes the battery very, very, very poor. And once you do that, then yes, I would recommend it that way. So if you're if you think that this is something that you can do, and like read over the threads, some of the issues that people have had, I believe somebody was supposed to do a different package. Maybe is this one? That was going to be easier than that list of instructions, but it wasn't too hard. I think you can root, and get very good battery life from the Palm phone. Otherwise, please don't get it. It's really, really terrible. So just my two cents. So, yeah. You also have the ability to, of course, use some of the other methods that I have outlined, like iPhone methods, or even the new Unpluq tag. Yay! Right. So we'll be doing a live stream in 2 days with the founder, one of the founders of Unpluq. This will also work on iOS. Right now, they're running a promotion for the Kickstarter. So one last thing, I guess I'll showcase here, which I talked about in my video. So if you want to see how it works, Kickstarter. No, it's Indiegogo. Indiegogo Unpluq tag this. So the Indiegogo Unpluq tag is 12 days, and we'll be doing the live stream on Tuesday at 9:10 Mountain Standard Time, or Mountain Daylight Savings Time, whichever time we're in now. So right now you can get the tag for $43, and you can get this perk. And then you can also access the lifetime premium launcher for $44. So for about continue payment. So for about $93, you get both the, the tag that will work with both Android and iOS. We'll be asking Tim how it works. Essentially, Tim is one of the co-founders. But essentially, I don't know how it's going to work with iOS. It's probably going to work with this kind of app that, kind of like blocks by going back or using shortcuts. So a lot of the apps that are, distraction driven, like, stuff like that, they use this as a, hey, block my ability to do this, block my ability to do that through NFC tags, which has been happening on the App Store a lot on iOS. And Google Play, of course, I showcased the other day how it works. If you want to, see how it works, then make sure to look into the video. But that's last thing that I'll showcase. Now let's go to some of the Volla OS thing. First of all, let's do a little bit of the hardware review. It's a tank, like it's massive. It has a fingerprint in the back, 2 cameras, flash, SIM card tray right here, and it's quite thick. It's a thick boy. And then you have right here a flap for the charger, USB-C, very good. And you also have a 3.5 millimeter headphone jack right here, which again, it's very good, very nice. So it's a good device hardware wise. If I drop this, I wouldn't be surprised that it will survive without any issues. So let me see. Something's going on with the screen. Yeah, something was going on. Okay, so here we have the full Ubuntu Touch. So we have Ubuntu Touch, and I like Ubuntu Touch. I think it's one of the best operating systems for digital minimalism because it doesn't have all the apps, but it still has some access. If you root or if you install an app called Waydroid, you can still have some access if you really need something from the Android store. Yeah, so let's see. Right there, you have the Open Store, which is their client for apps and things of that nature. But as you see, it doesn't have any of the super distracting stuff. Honestly, I guess QuickDit could be the most distracting app they have, which is a Reddit client. But as you see, it's mainly chat apps, things of that nature, productivity-based, things like that. The operating system runs very smooth on this device. I've been enjoying using it compared to the Nexus 5 that I used to have. And yes, the Nexus 5 was very sluggish. I tried installing the Waydroid. It did not work. It always crashes, as you see there. So it doesn't, I don't know if it works very reliably on this device, or maybe I need to go through the installation again. I use the Waydroid Helper app, which is also, you can install it, uninstall it. I may have to do a fresh reboot and things like that. So that is part of it. Then you have Podbird, my favorite podcast app. So you still have some, useful things. Yeah. So you have that. And of course, like you can subscribe to your podcast, whatever it is, whatever you're looking into. Again, the system has run very smoothly. It's very nice. And it's not as distracting. And the reason why is because it's not focused on heavy apps, but it still has some of the basic things that you need. Now, here in the United States, of course, the network is the main issue. And it works with T-Mobile-based carriers, but it doesn't work with any AT&T, as always, as you probably could have guessed, due to them just being evil and AT&T just not wanting people to use devices that they bring to their network, but only have the certified devices, quote unquote. But I've been considering this in order to switch because, see, look, I love my light phone. I think it's been a great journey for me for the past 3 years. But there are some times where I'm like, yeah, I wish I didn't need it. I wish I didn't need to use some extra digital services But the reality is that for my job, sometimes I have to, and I'm like, okay, I want to move back. Maybe I've been considering moving back to a smarter platform. I think iOS will be my preferred one, just because I still have some of the conveniences, but not too many conveniences. And I can live with iOS. I've lived with iOS before, so it's not a problem. And the 2760 is, it flies essentially. So I've been looking into that. Even though I love my light phone, I mean, just wish that it had maybe a couple of extra things, right? Like, in order to access quicker, like, for example, email. But I've been managing for now with my hybrid setup, bringing my laptop and just connecting that way. Sometimes I bring a tablet, so if I'm on the go, I can still check, just put the hotspot on. But that's just, I've been thinking like how to minimize more and to make it very seamless. So that's the main thing. Now, let me show you what I love about Vola and about UB ports. So let me bring there's the USB-C. So there is this program. So, let's say that you are like, okay, well, I wanted to try out Ubuntu Touch, but it's too much. Like, maybe I need some extra apps and you're not able to configure it. Well, there is hope for you, because there is a thing called the UBports installer. Let me see if this recognizes it so I can showcase to you some of the things. Okay, opened up. So this thing is the UBports installer right here. Let me make this a little bit bigger so I can cover. Oh, no, that's not what I'm trying to do. Yes, let me make this window bigger. Okay. There it is. So this is the UBports installer. It's an app, essentially. And we need to enable developer mode. So I need to go to settings and Ubuntu Touch and enable it. So one thing that I like is that, let's say like, okay, I tried it. It's not for me, yada, yada, yada. Well, you can reflash your device and use it with a different operating system, even through this Ubuntu Touch or UBports installer. So let's see, let's go to, I've never done this actually, so we'll see what happens. About this phone, and then you go to system settings, go to about this phone, and then developer mode. Developer mode activated. Okay, it's active. The ADB service will be enabled if developer mode selected. Note that you must have some sort of lock screen security enabled, and developer mode will be grayed out if that's not the case. The lock security menu there can be used to set up PIN or password. Okay, so we did that. Let's see if that does something. Close. Okay. So we're going to reconnect the lock security 4-digit passcode. Yep, I'm pretty good in there. So let's reconnect. And once it recognizes your device or the device that you're trying to use for the purposes, then you will be able to install whatever operating system you want, which, I think is amazing. They allow you to install their operating system through through a very wide selection of devices. Xiaomi, a lot of Nexus devices, OnePlus, Sony Xperia, as you see right here, Vola phone X, Jingpad, Meizu, BQ, Asus, Fairphone, FX Tech Pro, which is like a QWERTY keyboard device. Okay, this is not connecting. Here, let me try. Maybe it's because it's in the port from the back. Let me bring a different thing. So I'll be right back. All back. And live scene, yes. So let me connect this one to a different port in the back, and hopefully that one works. I think it needs not a special cable, but just like a data transfer cable. And I think the one that I have right now is it's not data transfer, but is only charging. All right. Let's see if that works. So let's go to connect it again. And maybe let me open the app again. That could work. I have a lot of things connected, so maybe that's also the reason. So let's see. Okay, developer mode, connect your phone. Your device should be detected automatically. Well, let's just select it here. So Volla phone X, select. Perfect. Please make sure you enable developer mode and OEM unlocking. Yeah, I think that's the only thing. Yeah, so that should be fine. Let's see. So let's install Volla OS. I agree. And it's going to be downloading things very easily. It does it for you, essentially. And I mean, we're hoping it doesn't get bricked. And if not, I'll show you. Hopefully I can show you how to make sure that it works in a different way and whatnot, right? So we're going to leave that for a second in there. But again, it's a good alternative because it's installing it for you. It's downloading all the files for you. It's, doing pretty much all of the work. So, you have different alternatives. As you saw there, you have Volla OS, you have Ubuntu Touch, and then you have a Selfish OS, which I have a device here to showcase a little bit of how that works. If you have missed some of my coverage previously, this is Selfish OS, which is, again, another non-distracting operating system that I think works majestically most of the time. In this one, I've actually been able to make it work with AT&T internet. But just because it's easier to do Wi-Fi, let me just do that. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. The AT&T internet is a little bit spotty. And it's not with main AT&T, it's with MVNO, as always. MVNOs do still allow you to use some of that stuff. So I do have a Volla account. Let me sign into this. Volla is another one of those companies that I really enjoy just due to the fact that they have a different operating system and it works really well with a lot. So here's a little demo if you have never see it. So yeah, we'll see how this goes. Okay, downloaded and verified. Perfect. Here you have some of those apps that you need. Do you want Android apps? Yes, I do. Only uses a certain level of Android apps. It doesn't use everything. So you see it's loading some of those from the F-Droid store. From the store. So Volla, again, another good company. You can install Android apps, Android app compatibility up to level, I think, Android 10. So you have a lot of compatibility in that sense. So I'm going to continue installing Volla OS on that one. It's unpacking the firmware. Let's see. And I want to showcase the Japanese one. So let's see. Thing is not charging. Oh, right. Okay. Now it's charging. Sorry, it was not charging. So let me continue showcasing a little bit of Selfish. But I've been considering these two platforms, mainly because They're not as obsessive with your data from like iOS, and they are, I think, they work pretty decently for phone calls, text messages, things of that nature. Some things are a little broken, but most everything works. So let's see. So here you have the store. Definitely this store has more than the other one, than Ubuntu Touch, but it still has like, a lot of like useful things, right? Like, a podcast application or things of that nature. And if you want really more open source content, you just go to the F-Droid store. Once it installs here, calculator install, calendar, where they're going. So you install it there, and then you're able to use it. So I've been thinking like, hey, this is a good alternative. Still gives me some of the things I need, right? So I've been looking into this, and not too heavily, not to be like, on everything. But then like, yeah, you have the ability to install a couple of extra things from the F-Droid store. And I know like I've lived on the non-Google ecosystem for so long at this point that I really don't need, like most of the Google apps. Like I've been able to live without Google Maps for a while. I've been able to live without mail, mail apps. I can use email clients, podcast, or anything, like it's just like I don't need Google Play services anymore. I've learned because of that. We see some questions here. Why will they be so inconsistent with the icon shape? Actually, you can change it, I believe. There's a setting. Where is it? Let me see if I can go over it. I know how to use it, guys. Display. Yeah, there's something about the apps that you can change the calendar. No. There's a way. I do not know how to do it anymore, but I do remember there is a way to change how the icons look to make it more consistent. You can do so. Here, let's see. What is going on here? Oh, there it is. Sorry, I was not swiping in the right direction. Let me see. Yeah, there was a setting some time ago, but I don't remember where it is anymore. But you can change it. Organize, maybe? No, that's for here only. Top menu settings. Well, there is a way. Maybe it was a specific app, but they, you can do that. So, let's see. Yeah, some people are like, it's not good for the icons getting a little bad rep, huh? Supports APKs these days. Yeah. So again, once I get to the F-Droid, I'll showcase how it works, and some of those things. Let's see where Volla OS is with the UbiPort installer. Oh, okay, I got to reboot to the bootloader. Give me a second. Power off, yeah, that'll be easier. So volume up and power button. Let's get to it. And I gotta select Fastboot Mode. Let's see. If the cable was long enough, I'll be showcasing it to you guys, but come on. Give me a second. I'm trying for it to work. I wonder if it's volume down instead of... No, it should be volume up. Volume up is usually the bootloader. Oh, there it is. Oh, where? Oh, never mind. It's here. Factory reset advanced. Reboot to bootloader. There it is. Okay. Bootloader should be doing it. So now I just hear a lot. Oh, flashing the firmware. Perfect. So as you see, here I'll show you. Maybe if I move this, yep, right there, flashing firmware. So it's, it tells you how far it goes and what it's doing, stuff like that. So it's very easy. Again, like, you have one of these devices that they have the UbiPorts installer. I think a Pixel 3a. That's what I would recommend, especially if you're in the United States. But you're able to flash, whatever you want through it. And yeah, you have some connectivity in there. Yeah, I see it rebooting and stuff like that, doing a couple of the flashing partitions and stuff like that. All right. Let's see. Okay, let's see. Has this loaded yet? It's almost there. What else can I showcase to you guys? So, as we were doing in the beginning of the conversation, I think I'm going to go with this idea of web catalog. Let me change the screen capture. So as I said, like, web catalog, and maybe use, an email client like Thunderbird or something else. If anybody has a very minimal email client that they use, please let me know. And probably I'm going to use Notion still and put some of these web catalog apps like the ones that I use, like, for writing, Substack, like, it's just one area. And I think that's it. Maybe I'll be able to get rid of my browser entirely. That's actually my hope. My hope is that I'll be able to completely get rid of my browser and just use clients, use very dedicated desktop apps in order to do all the work I do. And if I want to watch, something like a YouTube video or whatever, maybe I can download like a dedicated app for YouTube or like, something like that. So I'm not sucked in, all the time into like a browser and browsing something and doing something, like, so I can give my attention to most things. And I feel like that's a good way of, doing some of these things. And I think Volla is back on with us. It says to fix the issues, it is vital that developers receive. The device has been unlocked and can't be trusted. Oh, it's just saying the bootloader has been unlocked. Yeah, I'll have to lock it in just a second. Probably later today. Yeah. So, yeah. Let's see if I can set up the Volla OS and showcase to you how the Volla OS looks like. We saw UbiPorts. Now we have here the Selfish OS on this pink Sony Xperia XA2. And then, okay, almost there. Okay, Volla. I feel like its first boot is taking forever. Oh, the app support left. Oh, perfect. It's here. All right, so Volla X. This is the Volla operating system, Volla OS. So again, it's based on Android. It's nothing, super fancy. English United States, whatever. I'll set that up later. Let me add a Wi-Fi connection. Connect. Next. So you have a user agreement. Skip. We're going to skip the setups, fingerprints, and stuff like that. But now you can start. And as you see, Let's see. Leaving browser is not going to happen. Lots of desktop apps built using web programming language and put a web engine to it in order to run a desktop like a native app. I'm talking about Electron. Yeah. I mean, that's essentially what I'm trying to do. Like, I mean, I'm not trying to leave a browser like in the sense of like the technology behind it, but I'm trying to leave the browser as like the main source of my productivity, but rather separate it into different pockets of apps. And I think that should work, hopefully. Here you have turn on battery saver. Yes, because we're a little bit behind. So this is the springboard, as I was showcasing to you on the screen, but now you can see it fully. So you have recent people, recent threads, recent news, agenda, gallery, camera, show dialer. So it's like very quick. You get to the things that you need. Then you can swipe. As you see, you have F-Droid in there, email, radio, music, very basic. So a lot of this stuff. Then they have a VPN included. It's called Hide Me, and they send you a code. So with the purchase of it, so like right there, they send you a code for a free premium plan. I don't know what that means, but I see what we'll see how it works. So then you have sync for probably contacts. Yep, DavX. Yep. And then you have dark mode, news channels. You can customize those. The Guardian right now, NZZ and Chip Online. Shortcuts. You can add them right there. Maybe you can only have up to 3 of these. I wonder how many you can put in there. Then you have the ability of recent news, recent threads, people, add. And here are some of the things that you can add in order to jumpstart some of these things quickly. So you have camera, sync, radio, essentially any app, maps. Look at that. So you can you can do that. If I swipe, no. I want to add maps. Why did I not add maps? I'm still not super familiar with this. Oh, I see X's. Oh, I see. Okay. I don't know how to edit some of these channels. I see a plus, but I don't see the X's. Oh, you can turn them off. Oh, okay, so like as you see, you can turn those off right there. If you want to have less things on your springboard, if you don't want to spring into anything. But let's see if we can put maps into it. Doesn't do it. I need to get more familiar with it, so I'll figure it out in just a second how all of this works. Full screen, use color app icons, background blur, search engines, shortcuts. Let's just keep the ones that we had. And let's see how it works later. So yeah, there you have it. This is very Android based, and of course, like if I show you the dialer, you'll see right there. It's like an Android dialer, nothing crazy. Recent people probably will take you to that people tab if you swipe to this. And if you want to create like a message, or if you create a message, or if you send a message to a person, it will showcase. Let's do maybe a little test just for kicks, even though it will not work since it doesn't have a SIM card. Random number. Hello. Oh, it doesn't even select. It doesn't even allow me to do it because I don't have a SIM card, so it will not allow me to send a text. So I will not be able to showcase that. But you will have, essentially all of the people in here. And I've seen it work in a different operating system, or very similar. Actually, I can showcase that to you, which is the Ratio launcher on Google Play from Block. It's one of I used to follow it very, very closely, and I think it's actually a very good launcher. But you have that ability. But as you saw there, it was very easy to flash this device into the UberPorts installer. You were able to install Ubuntu Touch very quickly. Took very little, just follow the steps and connect the device, and boom, it does it for you. And then you also have the ability to revert or go to Selfish OS, which is right here. And talking about Selfish, I think F-Droid should have done it already. Let's see, go all the way. Yep, right there. So you have F-Droid. And with it, you definitely can use, a lot of, here, let me set this up. You can use a lot of your apps from the open source and still have Selfish, a different operating system, that allows you. I don't care. Okay, let's put apps on the dock. Back. Next. Let's see. Let's put phone, messages, and Firefox. There you go. Right. Grant permission. Next. Set as default. Yeah, so I can showcase to you how it works a little bit. Meanwhile, we wait for those repositories to go through. So as you see, very thickness is quite different, and this is without a case. So this doesn't have a case. This doesn't need a case, actually. But here we have the ratio, which I will tell you that they're very similar in their design or how they look. Ratio is different, of course. It has these kind of like productivity, but in the root, you're able to find the weather, news, calendar, media player, calculator, converter, Google, tickets, Songkick, bunch of different things. So if I want to put the weather here, sure, I'll give it. So it will show me today in Littleton, Colorado is 27 degrees Celsius. You probably can change that. And you can open that and boom, right there. You can also look at the news, CNN. There you go. And you can read it within, maybe just a little bit about it. And then if you want to open the article, you'll open it within a WebKit, I guess. Yep, most likely. Then if you want to show the conversations, here you have the conversations from your significant others or family or whatever it is. So you'll be able to use it in there. So you'll be able to have, let's enable that, notification access, allow, notifications, and you can essentially create tags for people, that you want to use, like if you want to have. So that's essentially how it would look. I believe there's an app called Ratio Settings that I should be able to find somewhere. Ratio Settings, there it is. And boom, you have the ability to do the conversations there. For the supported apps, you have Facebook, SMS, Signal, Facebook Lite, Instagram, WhatsApp, Telegram, and you would essentially have all of those under here, under the Conversations tab, so you don't have to go back and forth. You can just, essentially use it. I think there is some lock on the premium features. So I don't remember how much it is anymore. They moved to a subscription model a few years ago. Let's see how much it is. About subscription, I do have a lifetime subscription because I helped them some time ago and they gave me one. But I don't know how much it is anymore because I cannot change my plan. So let me see how much they charge. Block ratio subscription. How much is it? How much is the pricing? Let's see. Doesn't say. Let me see. Maybe I can find some information. Oh, okay, here it is. So it says subscription model for a launcher is $30 per year. Which a lot of people don't like, which I get it. You know, people don't like to pay for launchers. $150 for the lifetime subscription. Yeah, that's a little steep. I don't know. I would say that it's a lot. It's a lot. $350 a month, $50 a year, $150 lifetime. Yeah, it's a little, a little different for sure. But it's a tough cookie, right? Same thing with Unpluq. Unpluq is if you don't buy the Kickstarter. So the Kickstarter of Unpluq, actually, I think it's a good deal for $50 to get the lifetime one. Not now. So if you go here, about Unpluq, send feedback, account, premium. Yep, Unpluq premium. You have $449 per month, or you have $134, which I think it's a big price to ask. But if you get the 45 through the Unpluq tag, then I think it's worth it. I mean, like $50, you pay it once, you're able to use premium, use all the schedules, whitelist contacts, distraction barriers. You have the unlimited distracting apps that you will be able to block. You know, I think it's worth it. You pay them $100 for a physical product and a lifetime subscription. I think that's worth it. It's steep, yes. It's a little bit pricey, but not impossible. I mean, I think people can afford it. Okay, last thing for the smart devices, different operating systems. Let's go to Selfish OS. So here we have updating the repositories. Am I even connected? Yeah, I'm connected. Yeah, I did connect. Yeah, so hopefully this works. And then we'll be able to see. Board guys, software used to be sold as a one-time payment. Yes, I know. I love those days. There's actually a company. I wouldn't say everything is worth it, but I find good deals from time to time. It's called Appsumo. Appsumo.com. And they do a lot of this. They do a lot of it that is one time. So, for example, I will show you one that I did because I thought that it was worth it, which is Melon. Melon is a... maybe it's not it's not available anymore, probably. Let me see if I can find it. Melon Appsumo. So Melon is a stream like a streaming platform to invite guests and stuff like that. And they had this... oh, it doesn't showcase anymore. Yeah, not even showcases. But I think I'll be able to find out in my account overview. No. Products. Let's see. And I bought a couple of things since then. Some of them I have refunded just because. But go to products here. So Melon, this one right here, if you go to the regular pricing, is outrageously expensive. But there was a deal with the pro version for like $100, I believe. And you had like local recording and like uploaded streams, things of that nature. And I thought that it was an amazing deal. So I grabbed it and I was able to benefit out of it. But they have a lot of software, and some of it is not very useful, but some of it may be useful. So like, for example, here, I guess for podcasting, text-to-speech voiceovers, text-to-speech, a player, video hosting, Bouncecast make podcasts with audio processing, recording, and post production. And some of these things may not be super useful, but like I guess this one's not that bad, I guess. But as you see, it's like it's a lifetime deal for most of these things. Music packs for royalty-free audio tracks. And I think it's, if you know what you're getting into and you see the vision of the company, then I think you can benefit out of it. So Appsumo is one of my favorite places. Like this one is actually I've been considering it for the last couple of days. So Luminar AI is like editing via AI, and they include everything for $59 for one license, and of course you can buy more licenses. But if you go to their website, and Luminar AI is a pretty big company. I mean, like for the web, it's if you go to their website and you go to their resources membership, maybe right here. No, products, Luminar AI right here. Luminar AI, buy now. They have certain deals from time to time, but they have like, of course, one computer license, 2 computers, right? So you can get it for a little bit cheaper via Appsumo instead of like buying it through them. So I think it's not a bad idea, right? So I think Appsumo is one of those companies that still has a lot of that lifetime deals, and you can find something for your business or something that may work. Sometimes it's just a ripoff of something else that is very like, popular. So like, for example, let me find something. Super Doku is like an alternative to File Invite. And they will tell you what the alternative will be for. Let's see. There has to be something here that I can show you. And there sometimes some very reputable companies show here. So that's why I'm like, I come here every so often and see like, hey, what do you have? Like what is it that is actually good for, some of these things. So paste email, Nifty, Social Queue. This is probably like a Hootsuite or Buffer competitor. But you buy their plan once. It's similar technology, but it's $49, right? And you can do Facebook scheduling, Instagram, and all of the stuff that they do for a fraction of the price, of like a Buffer or something like that they may let you in with a couple of the very basic features, but they won't let you in, for some of the other things. So I don't know what this is. Soon schedule team shifts with Kanban style employee. Again, it's very similar to like other products, Time Shift, Humanity, Assembled, for your business or for your personal life. And yeah, you can see that some of these are definitely not worth it, but some of them may be worth it, and you kind of can, go over it. So that's a little recommendation. Yeah. So Jose, is Appsumo platform agnostic or is it Android only? No. This is they have, it depends on the company. So most of them are like, so for example, I've used this on Linux. Some of them are browser based programs. Some of them are not even just browser based, but like, some of them are programs that you download. And they usually have Mac OS or Windows or Linux compatibility because they know they're going into a niche market. So yeah. So I like Appsumo. Of course, you have to sort and really read if it's worth it. But it's a little recommendation there for you guys if you're interested in like, creating a business or creating something. I found a really good deal with Melon. I actually used Melon before the Appsumo deal, and I was like, oh, perfect. Now I can get it for cheap and for free forever. So so we finally got some of the categories on the Android, F-Droid. So you'll be able to, install some of these things. Let's go to AntennaPod. That's actually one of my favorite apps so you'll be able to install. And of course, It will get there, download it, install it, and then you'll be able to open it within Selfish OS. Settings, allow from this source, install. I don't know if it installed. Install. I don't even know if it downloaded it. Oh, it is there. So, and then you're going to be able to open it, like any other Android app, for open source Android apps, that is. And boom, you have it available to you. No Google Play services, but you're still able to use some of the Android apps and stuff like that. So there you go. Episodes, you're able to subscribe. Let's see, add a podcast, the daily. It is loading. And subscribe. Boom, right there. You download the podcast data, Crime Junkie, whatever. If that's something that you're into, boom, right there. You subscribe. You have the ability to download and configure it like any other device. So very good. I think this is another alternative, especially if you live outside of the United States. It works extremely well in foreign countries. You can install Signal, for example, in here, or a couple of other things that allow you to use some of those messaging platforms, things of that nature. Okay, one last thing, I guess, will be, how's my journey going with the Light phone? I updated a couple weeks ago. They did a couple extra updates. But this feature, the hotspot feature right here, has been a lifesaver. Honestly, I'm really glad that they included it. Being able to use it more and more. And it's actually very, very good. Oh, the music went away. What happened? Did it finish? Oh, yeah. Okay. Let's go for a different playlist. There you go. All right. So, journey has been going well. I've been thinking about switching back and forth. Not sure yet what I'm going to do, but it's pretty good. They fixed a lot of the issues with the podcast, especially on the settings. So one of the things that I did not like in the past is that it continued playing. So if I played a podcast, it continued playing sometimes, and sometimes it got finicky and it skipped to the next podcast, things like that. So it was kind of annoying. But now you can go to, I believe it's in Preferences, Tools, Podcasts, and the autoplay. Next show, you can enable it or disable it. I kept it disabled, and it has way better reliability with podcasting. You're also able to use some of the things for the music. Music is fine. Directions has improved. At least I personally feel that it has improved. Like you have, they find it faster. You go to driving, you input your location, and then you go in there. And what else did they do? Oh, the autocorrect. I think the autocorrect feature actually is pretty big. Let me see if I can send a text message. So like, oh, it didn't recognize the mistake. It's like, oh, that's a word. Okay, there you go. So if you have a mistake now, it underlines it and highlights it, so you can just press it and boom. Hello. Right there. You can just put it. And it will give you options. This is space. Oh, I guess so. Names, named, whatever it is. You just click it and you correct it. So this has been a game changer for me. I can type way faster. Or if I make a mistake, you don't have a lot of issues with it. Then one more thing I wanted to showcase was where is it? I think it's account and info. Oh yeah, the storage thing. So one more thing is it now shows me my device storage, and you'll be able to see what you're using and different things. I think this, again, one of the best things that has happened. And then you can also clear the history, clear the MMS history to make sure that your phone stays, top notch, since it doesn't have tons and tons of memory. One thing that I will counsel you to avoid is keeping the history. Don't use 30 days. It's very buggy. It creates other bugs like the threads don't sync, things of that nature. Is really, don't use it. And one more thing, maybe I'm missing. I kind of wanted to talk about this. I saw this. I found it to be interesting. I found it on Reddit. I think it was maybe a day or two ago. There was an article. There was an article on the Light Phone subreddit, or on the Dumb Phone subreddit, I think. I talked about the Light Phone and how, like, how it was an interesting device for some people, and for others, like, like it didn't work. Here it is. So I'll showcase that article in just a second. Let me go to screen capture. There you go. So there was this article here, which I found it interesting because it says, let me see if immersive reader. Yes, that's better. Okay, so a leader of the calm design style, even in its physical form, the Light Phone presents itself as a solution to information overload. It's perhaps the size of a stack of dozen credit cards. It delivers few features: phone, SMS, alarm, maps, and audio player. Unfortunately, it tends too far in the direction of life alert. With more space away from outside attention thieves, we are left with our nature and our will. We have a device to help us execute on them in the Light Phone 2. And so I picked up my new device to text a friend to make plans for coffee. It's small, so typing is harder than typing on a conventional smartphone. Okay, yes, that is true. But there are solutions for you to make your typing faster. So I asked, do you want to get coffee later? And they responded with an ordinary logistical challenge where they are and will be and when, the mutual dance of finding a convenient time and place. I can't handle any of this on the Light Phone 2, but want to constrain myself to it. So I suggest a time and place that feels right. Okay, so first, I found this article interesting because it was talking about the Light Phone. And don't get me wrong, I know the Light Phone is a very it's an expensive device. Like, I don't even debate with people that it's like, oh, there's better alternatives out there, like that are less money. And like, I'm like, yeah, you're right. There are better alternatives for a lot of people. And like, I do not fight that battle because I think it's stupid to say like, oh no, the Light Phone is cheap. It's not cheap. It's $300, and like, you need to know like what you're trying to do. But just letting you kind of like know why it was very interesting to me that this person said this. So like, okay, so first thing is like, it's small, so typing is harder than typing on a conventional smartphone. Yes, but you can just voice to text. Now, I understand that not all the time you're going to be able to voice to text, but you don't have to reply right away for everything, right? So that's something that I've learned, and this is something that I say, like, the Light Phone is not for everybody because it really invites you to live a different kind of lifestyle. It invites you to live a lifestyle that is not, connected all the time and replying back and forth and doing all of these things. You're just like, hey, do you want to get coffee later today? The other people have like a big slab, right? Like, they have one of these and they will like, type away like, oh yeah, where, whatever. And what I found is that with Light Phone, it invites me to be way more concise or to make a phone call, which is like the whole point, I think, in my opinion. And that's how it's been in my personal life. It's like, oh, I've been able to use it and it reduces my words. So I'm like, okay, I'll type less. I'll just be like, okay, yeah, let's meet at 3 or be more assertive. So not back and forth conversation, but just be like, okay, let me do that. Right. So that's the first thing that it says. Then the minimal features of the Light Phone by one forced me to make a decision and engage with my intuition. Except now I'm using curt ultimatums and my friend wants a longer text exchange. Okay, so this is my main point, that the light phone is not made for longer text exchange. It's just not a tool for those things. Because it's a device that invites you to do other things with your time. So, like, it's very interesting to me that this person that wrote this article, let me see if I can find their name, Chris Rutsky. It is very recent, June 4, so it was yesterday. So I guess I was reading it yesterday. And I found it to be interesting because I'm like, okay, you are saying that now you're giving this curt ultimatums when your friend wants a longer text exchange. Well, this specific tool, the light phone, is not for that. So I'm like, I'm not understanding the point. I'm like, if you want to slow down your life, that's the whole point that this device is trying to do. It's really trying to help people slow down by a ton, because it doesn't do all the things at once. It doesn't allow you to go back and forth between, apps and messages and calls and whatever, but rather is inviting you to do monotasking, right? And there are other devices that invite you to do those things. Like, for example, the AGM-M7, you can do a lot of things at once because it has Android and it has, this screen that goes way faster. So I'm really trying to understand the point here, but I'm also a little critical because, you're talking about a tool that is not inviting you to do things very quickly, right? And it's a tool that is designed to do less on the, on the communication front over the phone. So over the device itself. So, and then I mentioned the screen is small and I'm typing 10 words a minute. I think that's just for the article. I don't think this person is saying that they only type 10 words a minute, because you can type way more. And you can just voice to text. Again, very easy to do. And you can literally type a paragraph or it will type a paragraph for you within, 20, 30 seconds that you're speaking about it, right? It's very reliable. Now it says, I can't use multiple functions at once. The display is e-ink, so it's like interacting with a small Kindle, the act of reading, and it took 2 minutes to load a tiny pixelated map. Very true. That I will give it. Right. So directions is not the most reliable. It is reliable. It will get you there, but yeah, it will take a little bit of more time. Within minutes, it becomes instantly clear that this device has its own intentions for me. I am to communicate according to its protocol, not find a means of communicating on my own using it as a tool. And I think this is the main point, but at the same time, I disagree, because the device itself, they told you that it was going to be like this. A lot of the promotional material from the Light Phone team and a lot of the things that they say, and I've talked with Joe in the past, is designed to be used as little as possible. It's like literally trying to teach you to slow down. And I feel like that's the main point, where I'm like, yeah, if you really want to communicate to the protocol of smartphones, because that's what you're used to, then just get a device that is more smart. Yeah, that's it, And so I decided to relent and ask my friend if I can call them. But they are in a noisy place. And what an anachronistic suggestion. They're looking to share paragraphs. Okay, so, but that's I feel like that's a peer pressure right there. It's not necessarily like, hey, can I call you? It's just real quick. We can, I feel like there's so much pressure from the other world. I don't want you to talk to me. I don't want you to call me. Instead, I want you to text me. And be like, but okay, well, I don't want to text. So you see, there's different values at play in here. Yeah. So there's a couple of things that I'm very interested to see, the response from other people to the Light Phone. But I feel like sometimes people misunderstand what the Light Phone is, and they look at it as a solution to their problems when they're not really looking for a solution. They're just looking to detach a little bit. And that's why I'm just use screen time, just use a launcher like Unpluq, things like that will do you better. So A vague call you later became a mutual commitment forgotten, and we had coffee the following week. Okay, we still had coffee. Perfect. It just ignored the problem of human forgetfulness, optimizing for micro exchanges of calls and responses. We could have been exchanging Morse code. Yeah, okay. Something of the sort occurred continuously with the iPhone 2 by my side. I'll hear a new song I liked and wanted to save it for later listening, but couldn't. This is, again, another thing that I'm like, yeah, it doesn't have Shazam, but we didn't have Shazam 12, I'll give it more, 15 years ago, right? So we didn't have Shazam 15 years ago. How do we do it? We just ask like, hey, what's that song? Hey, does somebody know? It invites you to do more interactions with people. You know, I would sometimes reach friends by phone and the audio quality was serviceable, but cassette tape like that, it really depends on your provider. I never had issues with Verizon, people hearing me or me hearing them. Plus I use headphones. It's just better, a better experience. So that's give or take. But yes, of course, it's not, an iPhone experience or an Android, the latest codecs and whatnot for your Vola calls. Yeah, I'll give it that. Barely an annoyance, except it reminded me of the sort of unnecessary compromises that minimal tech often makes. And then I think he goes into like a talk about mainly like, software and how software is, talking about stuff like that. But minimalist tech addresses one aspect here. It fends off externally imposed distractions, enables us to see more clearly our nature. But the theology of our nature here is false or radically incomplete, predicting a world of diligent bureaucrats executing plans faithfully if only their managers and coworkers wouldn't disrupt them. Okay, and then, he goes into, like all of the other things that may be wrong with the device. So it's a little kind of like, not rant, but like, I'm just like, talking about like, hey, this device is inviting you into a different kind of lifestyle, and you can use it this way and be very frustrated, or you can adapt your life because that's what the goal was. I mean, and again, they market it to be used as little as possible. It's not that it's going to be frustrating. It's just that it's not going to be the same as a smartphone. So, yeah. Okay. That's a little bit of some thinking just I had. Here, I'll go into maybe the Reddit post. Give me a second. Let me see. Where is that? Oh, click something that I didn't need to. Last thing. Where's the article? I just had it here. Oh, right here. Okay. Yes. Okay. So, then I have a Reddit response I want to showcase. It did pass. This was pretty good. Okay. All right. So let's go for it. Adam H, turning off autoplays means you don't have to worry about sorting episode lists. You can just play them one at a time. Yes, it's been a lifesaver. I agree. Hey everyone, WL Tech and Ali D. Hope you're doing well. Thanks for stopping by. So then we have another one, which I'm like, okay, this one has more experience for a lot of people. But I kind of wanted to showcase some of these things. So I agree with this article, and the iPhone is functionally useless as a tool, which they claim is the point. But aside from that, even its functionality with the tools is unforgivably bad. Writing a text message that takes 10 minutes but also gets frozen and you have to exit out and find it again. Okay, so I want to go through this and I want to showcase what my experience has been. And this is why I'm like, sometimes I really don't understand how people are using their light phone. But like, let me see if I can text my work phone. I think that will be the best thing. So work phone. All right. There it is. All right, so work phone. Oh, that's not my work phone. Okay, so I just want to showcase that the phone works, and it's kind of like an antithetical to some of the opinions of people. So, hello, this is a text message. Okay, mistake right there. Message on the light phone 2. Right there. I think that took me less than a minute. I mean, that's 2 sentences, a sentence and a half. And if you want to be faster, of course, you will just speak to it. I mean, that's just the reality that the light phone does work if you just speak to it. If you have the ability to do voice to text, then do voice to text. You know, as you see, it has a lot of paragraphs and is not freezing like people are saying. Of course, it's flashing because, well, you know, the reality is that it uses an e-ink screen, but it recognizes most of my text and I'm able to use it pretty easily. And that's it, right? So like now you go over and, you know, if it caught something different, I mean, this is a full paragraph, you know, and like I'm able to use it and send it and, you know, do the different things that I need to do and then fix it. But like, this is a lot of text, right? So like I'm, you know, I'm kind of like trying to figure it out like, hey, what are people saying here? The device does work. It just maybe doesn't work like you want it to work, right? So that's the first thing. So let's go back. And again, it did not freeze. And I was using the voice to text, right? So, all right. Okay, let's go back to the post. So the screen is so terrible that trying to type in someone's phone number and it's a 3-minute ordeal as you backspace and re-enter. Okay. Again, we're going to go to demonstration time. We're back. Let's go to the dialer. Let's see. 323 185. Okay, there you go. One mistake. 56399. Okay, there you go. Is it a 3-minute ordeal? No. I think that was language for exaggeration. But yeah, does it make a couple mistakes? It can, right? But it's not the end of the world. So that was that. Let's continue with another critique. Now let's do calculator is frozen if used more than 5 minutes. Okay. Let's see how that works. Let's go to calculator. I don't know. We'll use it for a couple of minutes at least and see how that works. I mean, I never used it for 5 minutes. I mean, I don't know who would need to use the calculator for 5 minutes unless you're maybe, you know, having a budget conversation or something like that, because this is not like scientific. 5 times 5. Let's see. 5 times 5, 25. Or times 5, 125 plus 9. Oh. Okay. 25 plus 9 plus 6 times 3. Okay. I don't know how many calculations I need to do in order for it to freeze, but, you know. I don't know. And again, I don't know who will be using the calculator for 5 minutes straight. But right there, I did a lot of calculations. And sure, I may make a mistake here and there, but you still have the access to it. Let's continue. Next one is maps are not functional. That one, technically, I can test here, but I don't think it will be very, very useful. So let's go to Starbucks. Okay. There's a Starbucks in Pierce. Driving. Oh, interesting. It doesn't give me the... Okay, so yeah, I'm in offline mode, as you see there. Used to have a start here. I don't know what happened with the start. Let me go back. I haven't used the directions tool actually since a little bit. So as you see, I can give it, actually I could have given them that claim, right? Like, let's say that, let me put a different location here. Now let's see if that works. Let's say I'm a Midas, it's a store. Okay, let's say I'm a Midas, go to Starbucks. and I want to go driving, well, I start the trip, and okay, I have some maps usefulness, right? At least it tells me how to get there. And it gives me a map. Tells me how far it is or how to get there. Step by step. And of course, it's not, your regular one because it's e-ink, and then, of course, you have the full view of the map, how far it is. And then that's it. Again, you don't have to use it that way. And right now I'm inside, so it's not gonna be very good for the GPS mode. So it's not gonna catch my GPS. But yeah, again, does it give you the directions? Yes, it does give you the directions. Is it the best usefulness ever? No, it's not. I'll be the first one to admit. Probably I will give them. I'll give them within reason, right there. Again, the maps are not Google Maps. I will give them that. Okay. Let's continue. As a tool, it should be a good tool, not a tool that makes you want to throw it across the room every time you pick it up. I like the look and feel, but I can't imagine anyone sticks with it for longer than a month. Not true. There's plenty of people that have used it for years. I've used it for almost 3 years. And for $250, it's quite literally an expensive rig that sometimes functions as a tool for communication. Instead of adding new non-functional tools to the toolbox, maybe they should make the simple act of typing in a phone number you want to dial something that doesn't involve a multitude of cuss words. It doesn't, but I do think Apple will eventually catch up to this niche and do it much better. I don't disagree with that because the reality is that this niche is growing. But which I wouldn't be mad at all if they can call, text, receive messages, and have decent maps. Yeah, it's true. They're gonna get better at it. I don't know how fast they're gonna get there, and maybe there will be some public pressure. But it is what it is. Okay, so I get it. Some of these things, but there's other things like the part is where you say it's a tool, but it has to be a good tool. Okay. This is just kind of like LP users have such a strong emotional reaction to this device. They either love it and regardless of shortcomings and will have a reason on deck if any issues arise, or users downright hate this device. That is very true. People either love it or hate it. I will agree with that. I'm one of them that loves it, but I also know that I can be critical, right? Like some things do work well, some things don't work well, but sometimes some of these things are like, guys, like you're exaggerating things. Like there's one thing is to say the maps are difficult to use. They're not functional. Fair enough. I will give them that. Absolutely. But then it's like to say like writing a text message takes 10 minutes. No, it doesn't. It doesn't get frozen. Like I never had it happen and I have it for 3 years. Like what are you doing with your device? So I have some of those questions, right? This is another one. I know Paint Texas, he or she, I don't know actually if he or she, but they use the Light Phone for a little bit. They say Light Phone is garbage. They added tools that were not fully developed and they come out with upgrades or revisions with additional tools when they knew the bugs were not fixed. The customer is the R&D department. They sell out of curiosity. Okay, got it. And they say then, okay, now I want I think they're using a Wise Phone, right? And I agree that the Wise Phone is a very good product. But those of you that don't know what a Wise Phone is, I'll show you. I wonder what Techless is up to nowadays. So you have the Wise Phone. It's essentially an Android phone that is devoid of any extra things. But they do have like clock, calculator, maps, camera settings. And apparently now is not compatible with Verizon Wireless at this time, which is a big bummer, honestly. I thought it was. And works best with AT&T, T-Mobile, Cricket, and Patriot, which, I mean, for sure, right? But for $399, I'm like, wait, guys, like, it's not working again? And still doesn't have... It has maps. It uses, I believe, TomTom. And since it has more power and a bigger device, you'll be able to use a better idea. The thing that I don't like about Wise Phone is that you cannot delete any. What's it called? You cannot delete the messages. And another thing that I don't like is that not only you cannot delete the messages, but you don't have any music capabilities, even though it shouldn't be difficult to deploy. I really don't understand why they haven't done it yet, but I believe it's coming. It should be coming. Wise Phone Maps, blocking, secure messaging, clock, more features. It doesn't say what's coming. Yeah, I know they had like a upcoming list at some point in time of the things they wanted, but yeah. So again, I'm glad that they found something that works for them. But again, this is the thing. I'm like, okay, it's very good to use the tools and to know what you're getting into. So before, you get the device. Rant over. But I just wanted to showcase, and if somebody, tells me like, oh, this is true. I'm like, okay, here, I'll just show you a video where I'm like, most of the claims are not true. I'll give you the GPS. It's not the most usable. Are they working on it? Yeah, they are. But, it is what it is. Adam says something very true. I agree with this. Listening to an LP user complaining about the experience is like listening to someone on a diet complaining about their eating restrictions. It's like, yeah, you chose this. Did you forget? Wholeheartedly agree. Wholeheartedly agree with that. So that is it for now. I think that's all I wanted to showcase. I wanted to maybe showcase one more thing. This is actually some recommendation for you guys. I will open this program and I will show you what it looks like. So let me see. So there is this program called Rise, and I think is actually excellent. It's an excellent. Why is this not? Okay, let's see. Screen capture, Rise. Nope, not that one. Nope. Okay, I don't think it's gonna showcase, so I may have to showcase it in a browser. I'll showcase it in a browser, or maybe I can showcase it this way. Sorry, Inception right there. So there's this program called Rise. Does it show? Yes. Okay. So Rise is a tracker for a lot of your things that you do for your day, your week. It tracks what programs you use for focus, for meetings, for breaks. There is more functionality coming to allow you, to like do a couple of things here and there, like preferences. It allows you to take breaks and tracks you how you take breaks, and stuff like that. I personally think it's an excellent software to track some of your habits. You can resume tracking. I have it paused during the day, during Sunday. Usually I'm not doing anything Sunday. So for functionality, for a lot of these things, I think it's a good alternative. Now let's go to probably this right here. So I can show you on Appsumo, as I was talking with Appsumo. Rise is usually more expensive, but if you go to Appsumo, you can get it for $99. And this again is like a tracking system. It has like a little toolbar at the bottom that tells you like, hey, this is the amount of time that you have had since you took your last break. This is the amount of time that you've been working on, whatever you've been working on. But it also tells you like your top interrupters, improve your ability to focus, automatically tracks and categorizes it. It was Product Hunt's product of the day, so you have Rise right here. And if you go to regular pricing, it's extremely expensive. It's $14.99. But if you go through Appsumo, it's $99. I got it and I love it. I love how it works. So it's a very good system. And if you want to couple it with something else, I will say couple it with Cold Turkey. Cold Turkey. right here, which is the best, honestly, is the best website blocker. This one is also one-time payment. So yay, one-time payments. I love one-time payments. But the pricing is right here. You can either get the blocker just to get a couple things, or you can schedule blocks of apps, things of that nature. You can purchase it for $39, and they allow you to have that. You also have Micromanager and Writer, which are other two excellent applications. But this allows you to block websites, apps, and everything else. So as we were talking earlier a little bit about like quitting certain parts of the internet, like, and stuff like that, and like literally hardening it, then I think Cold Turkey is an excellent application that can help you do that. And probably I'll be using it. You can use it with a password, and of course you can give the password to somebody else, or somebody else puts a password. But it's a one-time investment, and it's $39. You install the desktop app, the browser extensions, and you can even lock it. Like, you can even lock yourself out of doing a couple of like, certain like what's it called, like certain activities, even on installing the apps. So that's very powerful to me. You can even lock yourself out of the computer, like, say like, hey, I'm going to block myself out of the computer for an hour, and then I'm going to go on a walk, and it just blocks you, and unless you have the password, which maybe somebody else set up, you won't be able to use it. So 2 recommendations there for you for software that can help you in your goals and like things of that nature. So there you go. There was one more question that I forgot to answer. I saw it earlier by Toby. It says, would you still recommend the Sunbeam F1? Yes, Sunbeam F1 is a great device. It's a very big competitor to the light phones and the punks of the world. Sunbeamwireless.com, I believe. Yeah. Sunbeam F1, very good device. Has a lot of good things going for it. I have the Orchid version. The only thing that it doesn't have, and that I wish it did, was hotspot. But that's life. It does happen that you may not be able to get it, and they always update them. They're pretty good at their updates, as you see right here. Last update was in March 2022. They fixed an issue with missing incoming calls, added ability to export and export text messages, optional auto cleanout of all text messages, other minor adjustment and bug fixes for the Daisy and the Dandelion. So they are working hard at it. They are one of the most consistent companies, and they have my recommendation. They have a very, very good system. One more thing that got updated is Punkt, the Punkt MP02. Can I allow selection? So the Punkt MP02, you can go to products, and then you can go to maybe support actually. You can go to support, you can go to software releases, and the MP02 got an update to version 1.1 of Apostrophe OS. It will have more features very soon. So apparently, if you download, you will receive notifications over the air from the next releases onwards, and your device will automatically adjust software for updates. If you choose not to install this version of your handset, you will not be able to benefit from our software services, including updates in the future. So you need to update it as soon as possible. There is, right here, we will be launching new features and services in the future to optimize the user experience and increase the value of our products. So they are preparing a lot of things for the MP02 according to this update. Again, I think that it will be excellent if they can add a couple of like the things such as group text messages and some of the fixes that we've been needing from Punkt. But they are doing pretty well, and of course now they have a better, more stable system for the Signal, for the Pigeon application. The web view now 4x4 tiles are now correctly displayed when registering with Pigeon. So that is excellent. So a lot of good things are happening in the minimalist devices arena, which is very exciting for me. As always, like, I love using these devices and trying them out and giving you guys updates on it. So there you have it. Those are some of the things that I have for today. Hope you enjoyed this live stream. Been 2 hours, so I was planning for an hour and a half actually, but going extra 30 minutes is not bad. if you have any questions, as always, put them in any of my videos and I'll be replying to you guys. It's exciting to, get to chat a little bit and chat about what I've been thinking and stuff like that. And hopefully you guys have a great digital minimalist lifestyle change and, your goals and whatever it is. Hopefully my suggestions can help you. As a reminder, if you're interested in more of my work, go to my website, josebriones.org. And you can find it there, my newsletter, which is now on Substack, the Dumb Phone Finder, of course, and like a couple of the other things that I'm working on. So thanks for watching today. I'll have another live stream on Unpluq. So we'll be talking with the founders of Unpluq right there. A little tag that is very powerful to block some apps on Android and soon on iOS. Hopefully they can do a demo on iOS. That will be cool, since I don't know how that would work. But auf Wiedersehen, everybody. Let's see what else. Adios, ciao, goodbye. Thanks for being here today. It's a really exciting time, and hopefully more updates will come in the time to come. I'll answer this last question that just came in. So, what's the best phone? The one that works for your goals. No, I go to my Dumb Phone Finder, try to find what's best for you, Miguel. There's a lot of options depending on your needs. Just go to Dumb Phone Finder, dumbphonefinder.com. Check what works for you. Check what's your needs. And yeah, hopefully, you'll find something that works for you. But hey, thanks for watching the live stream. Hope you guys have a great Sunday. And see you on Tuesday for the Unpluq live stream. Come with your questions about it, how it works and everything. And if you guys have anything else, just go into any of my videos, comment, and we'll be interacting there. See you guys.